Hello and namaste. I am Atul Krishnadas, and welcome to Narayan Ayurveda and Yoga Academy's 2020 Earth Day presentation. We've decided to do a series of presentations today instead of our usual live program because of the sequestration that everyone's undergoing worldwide due to coronavirus. So the first thing we want to talk about today are plants. Now, we all love plants. As humans, we've had a relationship with plants from day one. It's something that just goes back as far as recorded history. And plants give us so many benefits. We benefit best from a plant-based diet. There are medicinal plants. There are herbs that we use that help with the taste and it aids in digestion. There are so many plant products, things that we use, roots like ginger, the bark of trees like cinnamon, spinach, squash, eggplant, tomatoes, so many different types of things. But we want to talk also about some special plants, plants that have special properties, that help us either spiritually or they help us on the plane of our psychic well-being, our mental well-being, and our spiritual well-being. And some of these include Tulsi, banana, jackfruit, mango, and fig, as well as Bilva or Bale. Some of these are plants that are very hard to grow in places that are outside, something like USDA hardiness zone 10A. Like southern Florida is one area where you can pretty much grow all of these. 10A, 10B, 11, those are all hardiness zones where you can grow everything. We are in hardiness zone 9A. So we can't have everything outside all the time. But we will talk about Tulsi, banana, Bilva, and we'll talk about how to take care of these and things that you can do that will help, and how you can also get started. Why is this very important? Because plants are not just a thing that you can produce like a factory. You put a seed in the ground. There was this thing that happened after World War II. The U.S. was involved in World War II, and there was production of petroleum, and there was petroleum rationing, oil rationing, because there was so much fuel, diesel fuel, that was going to the war effort. The ships in the Pacific arena were powered by diesel fuel. The tanks in Europe were burning tons of diesel fuel. Suddenly, World War II ended and there was all this oil. So people thought, well, what are we going to do with this? And they realized, plants get their nutrition from nitrogen, potassium, phosphorus. We can actually get these things from crude oil, and we can make chemical fertilizers, and we can put them in the ground, and wow, suddenly we get these, faster growth patterns with vegetables, and they grow bigger. Now things have come full circle, and we've realized that soil science is very complicated. We put all these things in the ground, it burns out the bacteria, and it short circuits a normal cycle that takes more time, where we have beneficial bacteria that break down organic matter in the soil and produce nutrients. So it's good to have natural soil. It's not just a thing where, and I still run into this, we believe in science, science is good, but sometimes people who follow the scientific method say, well, there's never been any evidence that organic is better for you. And we say, we think about this from the perspective of things being alive. And live foods are better for you, things that are freshly grown, things that are more naturally grown. And when we have this ecosystem of the beneficial bacteria in the soil and these plants that are naturally grown, this is beneficial, this is good for us as humans. So we're going to talk about some of these special plants and some of their properties. This is also part of respecting Mother Earth. We believe Prakriti is very important. The earth is one of our 7 mothers. Atma Mata Guru Patni Dhenur Dhatri Cha Brahmani Ragi Cha Prithivi Chaiva Sapta Mata Driye Smrita. This Sanskrit verse says there are 7 mothers who must always be respected, and one of them is Mother Earth, Prithivi. So Earth Day is a great day to talk about respecting Mother Earth and not shortcutting the natural life cycle of all these bacteria and worms and other things that make the soil amazing and rich, and that all come together to make better food, and also for these special plants that have a special part in our day-to-day holistic life. So here we are with 2 very special plants. One is Tulsi. There are several different varieties of Tulsi. You can get seeds. Here you have a little tray starting some Tulsi seeds. I've used a regular seed starting mix mixed with a little bit of extra sand. Tulsi likes a well-drained soil. It's pretty easy to find YouTube instructions on starting Tulsi from seed. You can buy Tulsi seeds on Etsy. They seem to be available on eBay, but only shipping from Thailand and India and Ukraine. But I bought some seeds on Etsy for Rama Tulsi. There are several different varieties. This is a Kapur Tulsi. It is not as commonly used, grown in temples in India. More common varieties are the Krishna Tulsi, which has a purplish color and purplish leaves. They're very similar. You'll see there are these little clusters of blossoms, and then the leaves have a distinctive shape. The Kapur Tulsi has a taste slightly more like basil. Offerings which are made to the divine when they are offered to Sri Krishna, Radha Krishna, always are offered with Tulsi. So Tulsi is considered to be a very sacred plant to Lord Krishna and to Lord Vishnu. There is another variety of Tulsi which is also called Vana Tulsi, sometimes called Lakshmi Tulsi, which grows very large leaves. I'm actually not sure whether this particular Tulsi is the Lakshmi Tulsi or the Kapur Tulsi, but I believe it is the Kapur Tulsi. And Lakshmi Tulsi tends to grow very tall. Sometimes the plants will grow to 6 feet tall, a little bit more like a small tree. Whereas the Ram Tulsi, Krishna Tulsi will grow out to a bush if she is allowed to grow in an outside tropical climate. She will naturally tend to grow to a bush that is about 4 feet wide and 4 to 5 feet tall in rich, well-drained soil. Our Tulsi, we have to take her inside for about 3.5 months out of the year. She does not like to be exposed to temperatures under 40 degrees Fahrenheit. She is a tropical plant. Some people will grow Tulsi as a perennial, or an annual rather, but generally we try to keep Tulsi in an environment which is very similar to the tropical environment. So 3 months out of the year she lives in our shed, which has heating and artificial full spectrum lighting, and so she's able to hang on okay. This winter was a little tough and she lost some of her lower leaves. So that's it for Tulsi. Tulsi is a little bit delicate. She likes slightly acidic soil, which is well drained, and also has a lot of natural compost in it. Sometimes Tulsi leaves get spider mites, which look like a kind of a very fine webby thing on the leaves, and you can find many different sources to give you instructions on taking care of Tulsi. You can mix neem oil, and I'll show you some of that. So this is neem oil. Neem oil is, this is a hydrophobic neem oil, so you can mix it in a sprayer. You have to keep shaking it up. It's not a miscible oil. It doesn't mix with water, so you just have to keep shaking it. But spraying this regularly, it is a natural pesticide which helps with spider mites and other things. Of course, this is an extract of neem, which is another one of the special plants that we're going to look at today. So this is helpful for spider mites. Tulsi is a plant that has been given so much importance, and it's considered that Tulsi is a manifestation of the divine energy, and that she can actually fulfill benedictions, blessings, and keeping Tulsi is considered to be auspicious. Tulsi should always be honored. Tulsi should not be kept in a place where we touch the Tulsi leaves with our feet, and we should always treat Tulsi with respect. That is a very important part of Vedic culture in general. Tulsi leaves can also be dried and can be used to make an herbal tea. They can also be offered, and they can be consumed fresh. So the four types of Tulsi are Kapoor Tulsi. There's the Lakshmi Tulsi or Van Tulsi, which grows very large. There's a Rama Tulsi, which remains very green. And that's what I've started here in these little seeds. And then there's Krishna Tulsi, which has a purplish color and can grow to a large bush in tropical places like Hawaii and southern Florida and so forth. So that's it for Tulsi. Another very important plant is Bilva, also called Bale, which is also known as Bengal quince. This is a little plant that was given to us. There's actually two plants growing in this pot, and this was given to us by a very dear friend. And Bilva is a very special plant as well. The pulp of the fruit, now the fruit is, you're not going to get fruit out of this. This needs to grow to about a 30 or 40 foot tree before you're going to get fruit out of it. And the fruit is very interesting. It has a hard, almost woody exterior, almost like a coconut, and inside you have this orangish pulp. And the pulp is not that appealing to eat as a fruit, but it's usually mashed up and mixed with water and some sugar added, and it makes a very nice cooling drink. The leaves of Bilva have a lot of medicinal properties, and you can buy Bilva leaf. So this is Bilva. It is also called Bale, also called Bengal quince. It is also sometimes called wood apple, not to be confused with a different, completely different tree, which is found in Sri Lanka and South India, which is also called wood apple. But the name is Bilva, so remember that. All right. Now we're going to move on, and we're going to look at the curry leaf and neem tree. So this humble little tree is sometimes called sweet neem. It's also called the curry leaf plant. And it's actually a very useful ingredient in cooking. It has an astringent taste. You can buy dried curry leaves, and the best way is at many Indian groceries you can actually buy these plants. They'll sell them in a little pot. We've bought this in a little pot. We've kept it outdoors, and we bring it indoors for 3 months out of the year when the temperature gets under 40 degrees Fahrenheit. Basically, to use it, you strip off some of the leaves, a little sprig of the leaves, You can put them in hot oil when you're making sambar, and it gives a very special, exquisite, kind of pungently astringent taste. It's very hard to describe. There are many different recipes that call for curry leaf, and that's exactly what this is. It's not the same as neem, although it is sometimes called sweet neem. You can use dried curry leaves. They're just not as good as having them fresh. Now this is a very special tree. This is the actual neem tree. We grew this from rootstock. We ordered it from a place called Neem Tree Farms, which is near Tampa, Florida, and they shipped us the rootstock, basically a small rooted tree with the bare roots wrapped in some moisture-retaining fiber and wrapped in plastic and packaged for shipping. We planted it according to the instructions, and it has grown this far. This last winter it suffered just a little bit. We've had some problems with our temperature regulation in the shed. It is also a tropical plant. It wants to be at least 40 degrees Fahrenheit, not below. It likes well-drained soil, and it will do very well. Now this is a highly medicinal plant. If you take the leaves, you can eat the leaves, and they are really bitter, but they are amazingly medicinal. The medicinal properties of neem leaves are legendary. You can get powdered neem leaf, and you can have dried powdered neem. It's a prominent herb. It has fungicidal properties. It has premic properties, a whole list of properties. So this is a medicinal plant. You probably wouldn't use it in cooking, although Bengalis have a favorite dish where they actually fry a little sprig of neem, and they'll put it in a dish, or they'll serve it alongside some fried eggplant. Now, the neem tree is considered to be very auspicious, and it drives away all evil influences and all inauspicious things. Simply having the neem tree is auspicious. So we can't really talk about auspicious plants and plants that are good to have without talking about the banana tree. Banana trees have many auspicious properties. It is good to have them. It's just good to keep them. Here, in our growing climate, these will die off in the winter. We cut them back, and they will bounce back. They won't really grow in much colder climates, where it gets really cold and the ground freezes solid. Here, we have quite a few freezing days. We'll have a few freezing days where it stays below freezing for the entire day, but not much. That's fairly rare. But it still does die off, and then it bounces back. You'll never get fruit out of it in this climate. But having the banana is good. If you do any kind of ceremonies, you can cut off the fresh banana leaves, and you can use them as a kind of an offering plate. Actually, banana leaves are used as a naturally biodegradable eating plate in some parts of India, where people will cut banana leaves, and they're cut off very tall, big trees, obviously, and they naturally make a nice little biodegradable eating plate. You use it, and then you throw it away, and it's completely biodegradable and compostable. Banana likes to have rich soil that's well drained. Obviously, it's a tropical plant. Because it grows from a heavy, big root, it can retain a lot of its vitality throughout the winter, and then it will bounce back. We also got these from a place in Florida. I believe it was Neem Tree Farms also, where we bought these. I got two varieties. They were shipped as rootstock, and we planted them according to directions, and they've grown. We have two different varieties. So that's the banana tree. Another tree that has a lot of auspicious properties is the fig tree, and the fig tree is part of the banyan family. Banyan is a very special tree. It is sacred to Lord Shiva. It has many special properties. This is a brown Turkish fig, which I bought at Home Depot, and we planted it here. It produces fruit. The fruit of the fig tree is very good. It's very ojas boosting. And in particular, if men have issues with sperm motility, etc., having dates and fresh figs is great. Unfortunately, fresh figs do not ship well. They tend to be horrifically expensive, and you can get them in clamshell packaging. But if you're in a relatively warm place, they will grow. This will survive the winter as a deciduous tree. The leaves will fall off, and it will come back in the spring. And once these will start producing, usually the first year after they're planted, and you get a fair amount of fresh figs. And these are, once again, an excellent fruit for boosting ojas. I hope you've enjoyed our little talk about different types of special plants and trees that can be grown. Thank you, and namaste.